Morning, dear hearts. We're on lesson 53. Please subscribe. We are in review. This is our third review lesson. It contains 5 of the previous lessons, and we will go over them all at one time. I've been doing one word to link the lessons together for the review. The first word that was used was judgment. Yesterday was the past. So that's actually technically 2 words. And I think technically we're going to have 2 words again today when we can interchange them. One is meaningless or meaninglessness, harder to say. The other is insane, because what is meaningless is truly insane, and those 2 words are interchangeable in these lessons, and you'll see why I'm thinking that as we go on. So the 5 lessons that we are reviewing, I'll read them in their original version. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. I am upset because I see a meaningless world. My meaningless world, a meaningless world, engenders fear. It's my meaningless world, true. God did not create a meaningless world, a fave. And my thoughts are images I have made. And the word insane is mentioned in each of the lessons. Remember, the form that they're in is a little bit different from originally when we first met the lessons. So my insane thoughts are showing me an insane world. In the lesson it says what is producing this world is insane, and so is what it produces. Insanity will beget insanity. Meaninglessness will beget meaninglessness. A thought never leaves its source. So if my thought is meaningless, if my thought is insane, everything that is the effect of that thought will be exactly like the original thought. So if my original thoughts are insane thoughts, crazy thoughts, of no consequence, not real thoughts, then everything that comes from them will be exactly like they are. The lesson says reality is not insane, and I have real thoughts as well as insane ones. I can therefore see a real world if I look to my real thoughts as my guide for seeing. My real thoughts are the thoughts that are of love, because those are the thoughts that I am thinking with God. If I'm not thinking with God, I'm not really thinking. The second lesson we are reviewing is I am upset because I see an insane world. And the lesson begins with insane thoughts are upsetting. Of course they are. If I am in a space where nothing makes sense and I feel like I'm wandering around with no direction, have no idea what is happening, I'm going to be very upset. I'm going to be filled with fear, fearful. But what we have learned in our previous review was that, again, we can choose again. That's what we're going to do. We will choose again and again and again. We will do that as many times as we need to until we come to knowing what our real thoughts are and choose to align and have allegiance only to them. Going back to the review lesson, it says, and I do not choose to value what is totally insane and has no meaning. Chaos rules this world of insanity, of meaninglessness. I don't have to stay there. I am grateful that this world is not real. Our third review lesson is a meaningless world engenders fear. An insane world engenders fear. The totally insane engenders fear because it is completely undependable. It's unpredictable also, and offers no grounds for trust. Trust is the basis for everything. As when we get to the manual for teachers, we will learn it is the first requirement of a teacher of God to have trust, to develop trust. I cannot develop trust in an insane and meaningless world. Back to the lesson, it says, nothing in madness is dependable. I have but that world is not real. I was going to skip that line. I have given it the illusion of reality and have suffered from my belief in it, my allegiance to it. But now I choose again, to withdraw this belief and place my trust in reality, place my trust in God. In choosing this, I will escape all of the effects of this world of fear because I am acknowledging it does not exist. The next lesson for review was number 14, again, a favorite. God did not create a meaningless world. God did not create an insane world. In the original lesson, when we first got it, it said that God did not create that disease, so it is not real. God did not create that war, so it is not real. God does not create what is insane and filled with fear and uncertainty. God is certain, and all that God creates is like him. So, going back to the review lesson, it says, how can a meaningless world exist if God did not create it? It is in my mind too, because he created it with me. Why should I continue to suffer from the effects of my own insane thoughts when the perfection of creation, what a beautiful phrase, the perfection of creation is my home. Let me remember the power of my decision and recognize where I really abide. The perfection of creation, that is our home. That is where we truly live. That is where all that lives forever. That is where we want to be. And the fact that God did not create a meaningless world, when we understand that, all that we are seeing here will be reversed and brought back to the truth of creation. And then the last lesson we are reviewing today is my thoughts are images that I have made. I've made up this movie. Okay, I'm in the movie. I'm projecting my thoughts outward. These are my thoughts. My thoughts have made up my world, and I am living in it and believing that it is true. So this is a movie that it isn't one that I walk into or a drive-in movie. This is a movie that I take with me everywhere I go. I would much rather take God with me everywhere I go. So going to the lesson, it says, the fact that I see a world in which there is suffering, loss, and death shows me that I am seeing only the representation of my insane thoughts, and I am not allowing my real thoughts to cast their beneficent light on what I see. Yet God's way is sure, and the images I have made cannot prevail against him, because it's not my will that they do so, and it is not God's will either. God's will and mine are one. My will is his, and I will place no other gods before him, which of course comes from the Bible, but we can also say, I will place no other idols, and the ego is an idol. I will not place the idol of the ego before God. Now, if I'm in a movie that is from my insane thoughts, it has many pages and many words, and all of them are really filled with fear. But if I switch and I'm having the script that was written by my right mind, my real mind, containing my real thoughts, which are always thoughts of love, that will be the one word that is in my script, love. And that is all I want, that is all I need, and that's all that is real. And that's all for today. So I hope it helped. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please comment. Please smile for all of your achievements here and all of the shifts in thinking that you, I know, are experiencing. I see it in the comments. And smile and take in a deep breath and release everything that's insane in this moment. And pray that all of this comes to us as soon as possible. Namaste.